An anime series that has been trending this season is Alya sometimes hides her feelings in Russian, aka Russian. It's no surprise that it's been consistently in the top 3 of many weekly anime charts since its debut due to its unique plot. Not gonna lie, I saw the screen caps and fucking dropped everything in my life to check out the pilot. And while it is a solid anime series that checks the box on what your average rom-com should have, there is a blatant issue that I've noticed as the show progressed. Alya, despite being the main character, is not the star of the show. She ain't even second place in my book if you want to keep it a buck. But how could that be, you ask, since the show is 1. Named after her. 2. She is the main love interest. 3. All promo material is of her. Well, the short answer is her. The main character's little sister. What in the Yosuga no Sora? Did you say little sister? Yeah, that's right, bro. Alya's main love rival is the main character's blood-related sister, Yuki Suo. And she don't give a fuck either. She said incest is wincest. She said, sweet home, Alabama. What a filthy, unhinged girl. My girl. Despite being a side character, clips and screenshots of her dominate social media more so than Alya, who gets majority of the screen time. And while Yuki, my girlfriend, is quite charming, this still isn't the main reason why Alya is not the best waifu. Let me break it down for you. The new genre of niche rom-coms like Nagatoro from Please Don't Bully Me, Nagatoro, Takagi from Teasing Master Takagi-san, and most recently Rin from Pseudo Harem, which is currently airing alongside Roshidare, share a certain formula that works. Every chapter that you tune into revolves around the featured love interest performing her trademark quirk, something that would allude to her true feelings for the main character. But he'd end up brushing it off or be too dense to get the message. Occasionally, there would be breakthroughs and some development between the two, but for the most part, the story has no real plot, and each chapter is basically standalone. To further explain, we'll use Nagatoro since Nagatoro is Alya. Now, if Nagatoro's quirk is bullying, Alya's would be that she speaks Russian. She acts like a typical tsundere, generally cold to most people more or less, but at the end, she would always reveal her feelings to the main character in Russian.
Боже, я уже это знаю.
The twist is that the main character understands most of it since he had a childhood Russian friend, so he is completely aware of how she feels about him. And it works for the most part. The pilot episode was fresh, there were some memorable moments, and it seemed like Alya was set to be the next big rom-com girl. That is until episode 2, otherwise known as Yuki NTR. From episode 2 and on, you can start to see Yuki upstaging Alya in every scene she appeared in. Now, this wouldn't have happened if the writer hadn't deviated from the formula. The predecessors of the niche rom-com didn't run into this issue because 1. There's only one featured girl, therefore there is no real competition. 2. There is no real plot since they were character-driven stories. And 3. The main character has no real backstory. Roshidare breaks all these rules, and in turn, Alya is outshined by the 3 that are introduced. Aside from her trademark Russian quirk, she's your average tsundere. It's not very interesting compared to Yuki or even her older sister Masha, who is implied to be the main character's first love. This leads to the other points. The main character for the show isn't your average self-insert like the others. He had a Russian childhood crush that he liked so much to the point that he began taking up the language to get to know her better. He also had a falling out with his family, which ultimately separated him and his sister. Normally, These deep subplots strengthen the show and have you invested in the other characters. For Roshidare, however, it backfires when it comes to getting the audience to fall for the main love interest. This brings us to another issue. Yuki, as lovely and fun as she is, cannot hold the viewer base. Why? Because we know that all roads will eventually lead to Alya, and if she wasn't your pick, there's no real reason to tune in. With other rom-coms, we are invested to the end because there is an illusion of choice. We want to see who the main character ends up with and hope that is our champion, the girl we fell for and personally chose. However, with this show, it's clear that the main character only has eyes for Alya, and it would make sense if he ended up with someone else. Don't get me wrong, Roshidare is still a great show, and sales for the light novel are higher than ever. For all it's worth, Alya is a pretty decent lead, and I think the solution to these minor issues would be to simply remove her name from the title altogether. I'm sure I, as well as many others at this point, are just watching the show to see Yuki. Knowing who the main character will end up with leaves little for us to imagine. And while Alya will inevitably be the winner, we all know who the people's champ really is.